Lindy knew, and she respected his judgment. He'd survived the emotional trauma of divorce and seemed to have come out of it with a new maturity. "You'll know which bedroom is mine," Steve's letter continued. "I can't remember the last time I changed the sheets, so you might want to do that before you crash." Crashing certainly sounded inviting, Lindy mused, sinking with a sigh onto the edge of the unmade bed. Although she'd nearly memorized Steve's words, Lindy read completely through the letter once more. Clean sheets were in the hall closet, he explained, and she decided to tackle making the bed as soon as she'd unpacked her things. The washer and dryer were in a small laundry room off the kitchen, the letter went on to say. When she finished reading, Lindy placed Steve's instructions on top of the dresser. She stripped off the sheets, carried the bedding into the laundry room, and started the washing machine. When the phone rang, it caught her off guard, and she widened her eyes and placed her hand over her heart as shock waves washed over her. It rang one more time before she decided to answer it. "Hello?" "Lindy, it's your mother." "Oh, hi, Mom." Lindy smiled at her parents' habit of identifying themselves. She'd been able to recognize her own family's voices since she was a child. "I take it you have arrived safely? Honey, you should have phoned your father, and I've been worried." Lindy sighed. "Mom, I just walked in the door not more than 10 minutes ago. I was planning to phone after I fixed myself something to eat." "Did your car give you any problems?" "None." "Good." Her mother sounded relieved. "Everything's fine, just the way I said it would be," Lindy added. "What about money?" "Mom, I'm doing great." A slight exaggeration, but Lindy wasn't desperate. At least, she wouldn't be if she found a job reasonably soon. The unemployment problem was one she hoped to correct first thing in the morning. "I talked to your Uncle Henry in Kansas City, and he said you should think about applying at Boeing, that airplane company. He claims they're always looking for someone with a degree in computer science." "I'll do that right away," Lindy answered in an effort to appease her mother. "You'll let us know when you've found something?" "Yes, Mom, I promise. And don't be shy about asking for money. Your father and I—" "Mom, please don't worry about me. I'm going to be just great." Her mother expelled her breath in a long, anxious sigh. "I do worry about you, sweetie. You've been so terribly unhappy. I can't tell you how disappointed your father and I are in that young man of yours. Paul isn't mine anymore." Lindy's voice trembled a little, but she needed to say it out loud every now and then just to remind herself of the fact. For 4 years, she'd linked all thoughts of her future with Paul. Being without him felt as though a large part of herself was missing. "I saw his mother the other day, and I'll have you know I took a great deal of pleasure in looking the other way," Grace Kyle continued, with more than a hint of righteous indignation. "What happened between Paul and me isn't Mrs. Abrams' fault. No, but she obviously didn't raise her son right. Not if he could do something this underhanded and despicable to you. Mom, do you mind if we don't talk about Paul anymore? Ever?" Even the mention of his name brought with it a sharp pain, yet part of her was still hungering for news of him. Someday, Lindy vowed, she'd look back on these awful months and smile at the memory. Someday, maybe, but not now. "Lindy, of course I won't talk about Paul if you don't want me to. I was being insensitive. Forgive me, sweetie." "It's all right, Mom." A short, throbbing silence followed. "You'll keep in touch, won't you?" "Yes," Lindy answered and nodded. "I promise." After a few more minutes of filling her parents in on the news of her trip, Lindy replaced the receiver. The washing machine went into the spin cycle behind her, and she tossed a glance over her shoulder. That was the way her world felt lately, as if she were being put through a churning wash. The only question that remained to be answered was if she'd come out of this drip-dry and wrinkle-free. Rush Callaghan stood on the bridge of the USS Mitchell, a pair of binoculars gripped tightly in his hands. He paused to suck in a deep breath of tangy salt air and sighed his appreciation for the clear, clean scent of it. Being on the open seas stirred his blood back to life after 3 long months of shore duty. He relaxed, home at last, as the huge 1,092-foot-long aircraft carrier cut a wide path out of Puget.